The new year will bring many changes, including a new presidential administration. President-elect Donald Trump warning federal workers they must return to office. We have Lisa Rein with the Washington Post to explain the RTO debate. And Lisa, this looks like it's an uphill battle for the incoming Trump administration.
Hi, Katie. Well, it really depends on whether the administration decides that it wants to adhere to precedent or not. And we just really don't know which direction they're going to go in. So incoming President Donald Trump has said, look, we don't really trust that all these federal employees who are working from home are really working from home. We think that productivity in the federal government has taken a nosedive under President Biden, and we want people back in the office. And so this is likely to happen pretty early in the administration. The problem is that there are a lot of union contracts that employees who are covered by collective bargaining agreements are under. And the Biden administration is sort of racing right now, working with unions to kind of get those telework pieces in place so that to make it harder for the Trump administration to undo. So there's that, number one. And number two, there's potential space issues because, Republicans were very concerned that so many people were teleworking under the Biden administration, and they said to all these federal agencies, look, you have excess space. You've got to do something with that space. So that's happening too. A lot of agencies are cutting space. And so the question is, well, if you bring back all these employees, are they going to have a place to go?
And what about what you're hearing from the unions about how strong these defenses may be if they have to push back on a Trump administration, and how strong these contract provisions are that are maybe coming together at the last minute of the Biden administration?
That's right. Well, it is a violation of labor law to break an existing contract. A contract that has expired is a different story, and I think the Trump team would have, more power to override the provisions of an expired contract. But a lot of the big cabinet agencies have contracts that, have kind of codified telework in there. But we don't really know. The Trump administration has indicated a willingness to basically, kind of trample over laws and say, look, you can sue us and we'll see what happens. And this is actually what happened in Trump's first term, where there were a couple of contracts at the Department of Education, Department of Agriculture that had expired, Department of Commerce, I think a bunch of agencies. And the Trump administration did push back and said, okay, look, the contract's expired. We don't have a new contract, but we're going to make you come back to work. And this took years and years to get through the court system. And in the end, the unions won. But by then, the employees had already come back to work during the Trump administration. But remember, not every federal employee is covered by a union contract, right? So hundreds of thousands are managers at all levels. And the new administration can really they have full reign to tell those managers or people who aren't covered by the union contracts that they're changing their workplace. They can tell them what to do. This is definitely something that is within the purview of management to control.
We saw a number of those emergency requests that made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they got a number of nationwide injunctions in their favor, playing things out in the courts. I want to ask you quickly here at the end, we only have about 30 seconds, but the Trump administration incoming is talking about slashing the budget, cutting things, but this actually might make things more expensive.
Well, it might in two ways. One is if they have to go to court to spend money to fight the unions. But I think more immediately, if there are agencies that have shed a lot of their office space and literally don't have room, for new office cubicles, people coming into these cubicles 5 days a week, I think they may have to spend money to, reconfigure their office space, right, or, try to claw back some of the space that they gave up.
All right, Lisa,
so we'll know
thank you
pretty
so much.
soon in late January.
Something to keep an eye on as we head towards January 20th. Thank you for your reporting.